is only war.
Let's change the color to red. Nice. That is some chaos shit right there. All right, what's up, gents? What's up, Dirtbag Nation? So today we got a battle report. It's going to be Chaos Space Marines versus Chaos Knights. We actually stream this game live on Patreon.com. We have our Monday Night Gaming live streams on Patreon. Or sometime throughout the week, I just kind of post it up and say, hey, we got a live game going for Patreons. Mainly for Grandmasters that want to see specific lists played for them live or a battle report live. That's what the Patreons get, being a Grandmaster. But if you guys want to support the channel, we wouldn't be doing this without you guys. A lot of stuff is coming up in 2024. We're so close to 10,000 subscribers. Guys, subscribe, like, do all the YouTube stuff. Really appreciate it. Once we hit that 10,000 mark, we're going to be doing a merc for t-shirts, really funny t-shirts, dirtbag t-shirts, hats, jerseys, a lot of stuff in the works. And also the merch, if you guys are interested, we just got widgets added. So these widgets are used every single game. They're the 6-inch, 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, 1-inch widgets that you guys can be using every single time you play 40k. And then also the dice, $1 each if you guys want to support the Dirtbag Nation. All the stickers up on Discord, and then the proxies, if you guys want any of those proxies, hit me up on discord.com. We have a lot coming up with tournaments. We have LSO for the first time. We're going out to Texas, so if you guys are in the Texas area, come up and say hi. Lone Star Open's going to be amazing. Support the troops. Mike's heading out with us, so Mike's gonna be probably talking the entire time about, you know, war stories, all the stuff. You guys support your troops. Head out to Lone Star Open. And we got ACO, Atlantic City Open, that's local, the Northeast. We got Nova coming up at the end of August, and LVO, obviously, at the end of the year to kind of cap off the end of 40K. Merch, 10K subs, and Patreons. You guys, again, wouldn't be doing this without you. We're so close to that $1,000 a month tier. Once we hit that, we're going to be doing a huge giveaway to all of our Patreons. We give away a ton of models like we did once we hit 500. That's going to be a free giveaway for anybody on the Patreon. You get specific rankings based off the tier. You get tickets, and then we give away free stuff. So that's for Patreon.com. Now, with this was a super close game. Craig is our team captain on Team Cuddle Buddies. So anytime we play Craig, it's always a really good game. This game, we really wanted to test out a core Chaos Space Marine list that anybody can pick up and put on the table. I'll give you my suggestions on what we would have changed differently in the list. And one of the Grandmasters wanted to see Chaos Knights played before he goes to the tournament. So we wanted to do a specific battle report. He already saw it live, but the battle report goes over a little kind of insight on what we're doing. I am going to be changing up and adding a specific thing on Patreons where you get live after the game video, where you get to see how we talk about live what we would have changed after the game. Because when we talk about a battle report, you know, a couple days, if not weeks later, you want to kind of see what we're thinking about right after the game live. That's going to be on patreon.com. So $1 a month, you get to see videos ahead of time. $5, you get to support us a little bit more. You get your name recognized, and then 10 for competitive, you get that person in your corner, and then 25 if you want kind of everything that Dirtbags offer. So let's go over the list first, and then we'll go over turn by turn, picture by picture on what we did good, what we could do better, and kind of get you guys better at 10th edition.
All right, today we got Chaos Space Marines. We got Abaddon with a Hellbrute, Nurgle, Last Cannon, big Demon Hammer, 2 units of Legionnaires that are Slaanesh. They're all melee. We have 1 unit of Legionnaires that are going to go with Abaddon with the Last Cannon, 2 units of 10 Cultists, 2 units of 3 Bikes, both with plasma guns and a plasma pistol, 1 unit of Demonettes with the Seekers. We're testing them out again. 3 Predators. They all have autocannons and heavy bolters. They're all Nurgle. 2 units of Nurglings, 1 Slaanesh Rhino, 1 Gate, and 1 of the Carnivores. This was a Carnivore last edition because the Grandmaster wanted to see him on the tabletop. All right, Craig, what do we got today?
All right, today we got Chaos Knights. So we've got a Cerastus Knight Lancer. This is the Warlord. Has the enhancement to make objectives sticky and also count as a model for the purposes of Harbingers of Dread. I have 3 War Dog Brigands, all with Havoc Launcher. I have 6 War Dog Carnivores, all with Havoc Launcher. I have a Beast of Nurgle, and I have 3 little squads of 3 Nurglings.
This is such a pretty army.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So those are the lists. Super good lists. Now the Lancer is complete option. Like you can run all of the brigands, all of the little knights if you really want to, which is a very, very still good competitive army. Or you could be a badass and run a Lancer right smack dab in the middle of your army. So just the paint scheme by Jack is hilarious. So we have the little Cuddle Buddy logos on it all over the place. It's pink because that's our color for our jersey. And then we have a black jersey and a silver jersey, I think. But this is the game, the deployment we have. He took fixed, I took tactical. Priority targets, so up to 10 max, and then you get 5 points for each objective at the end of the game, up to 15. And we did in Dawn of War. So 3 objectives in the center, 1 on each outskirt, and this is our terrain setup. I think we're going to be changing it up a little bit for the RTTs moving forward at Alternate Universes Bluebell, Pennsylvania. We do it once a month. So I think they're going to be doing the little L, like I think it's an L here, and then an L here, and then a big rectangle here, big rectangle over there, stuff like that. So all of these are line of sight blocking, ruins. The plexiglass is Rexar Lasers. They're a sponsor on the channel. If you guys want free shipping, use the code DIRTBAG. And they're $40 for the entire table. And then if you go $99, you get the things on top of them, and you can get your logo or design on it as well. If you just want a Dirtbag design, you can ask them for that. I give you permission. And then it's super good. Like I use it every single time, and you can actually bring these anywhere you go, so you get good practice no matter what store you're at. So not every store has terrain like this. So if you could bring your own and get good practice for RTTs and GTs, that would be my suggestion 100% of the time. So Rexar Lasers in the link below. But our deployment, we have the crown, giving everything within 9 inches of it, wholly within 9 inches, a 4-up invuln save. So having Abaddon with his full rerolls, also giving a 4-up invuln save is such a good combo. Usually when I ran Abaddon with all the accursed cultists, it was just a 4-up invuln save the entire game, within 6 inches of Abaddon. Now you get both if you bring the crown. Now the crown also, you might not know, is not a vehicle. So your vehicles can move through it because it's a friendly model. So with the new 10th edition, you can move through your own models. You just can't move through another vehicle with a vehicle. So how you kind of like not break it, but use it to your advantage is you can start your tanks behind it, move through it, or even infantry move through it, but your opponent can't move through it because it's an enemy model. Plus it also blocks out deep strike within 9 inches. So you just put it on your objective, can't get, it's OPSEC 0, but still can't get within 9 inches. Like it's such a good model in 10th edition. So we have our Rhino with 2 Legionnaires with Slaanesh in there, about to move up behind a wall and just kind of camp there until we need them. Nurglings in case they have to walk out and get a center secondary turn 1. They can't get through walls, so you have to kind of start them where they move through the 2-inch marker. We have our bikes over here within 6 inches. We have the Cultists, Legionnaires, Abaddon, and the Hellbrute. So they're basically going to, Hellbrute's going to run around, get everything within 6 inches. Abaddon's going to scoot up to the corner, get everybody within 6 inches. So if he steps out anywhere, we'll be able to get full rerolls and explode and crit on 5s. And then another bike unit back here for secondaries. Him, straight line, everything across. He's got 2 Brigands in reserves. We have our Carnivore in reserves, Demonettes in reserves, and then Nurgle unit in reserves. So we have a couple reserves over here. He's got 2 Brigands, and then he just puts everything in the line with Nurgle, Beast back there. Pretty standard. We happen to get turn 1. So for our turn 1, we use our Seekers, which are really good. This is my first game testing them in 10th edition. So you need Demonettes now with Seekers, because you can't bring Sinkers without a battle line Slaanesh unit, which has to be Demonettes. So you're paying 110 points for Demonettes plus 80 points for Seekers, so 190 points to do shenanigans like this, which is, I think, worth it. You used to just bring 85 point Seekers to do it, but now you have to bring Demonettes, which is still OPSEC 2, speed 9, full rerolls on an objective. Like they're not bad. So use them kind of more defensively than just kind of running out and dying really quickly. So Seekers scout move 9. They started back here. They scout move up to here, and then they move 14. So they go super far, 14 inches, and then I wanted to block his Nurglings and most of his army as much as possible, so they can't move through. Chaos Knights can for 1 CP. They can move through buildings. This guy can just move through models and buildings. So as long I measured out 14 inches to block him from landing here. So that's why this guy's back here. And then I charge this Nurgle unit. Now I think I rolled a 6, which means only this guy was able to get base to base. So all the other guys, as long as they end closer to that model, is a successful charge. So they have to stay in coherency and end closer to that model or that unit. So I basically charge one guy over here who died, one guy over here, and then one guy back here. So they're all in coherency, and I'm blocking him from moving this way, which he probably would have just ran at me turn 1. So these guys making up their points by getting into combat, stopping these guys from doing a secondary. I probably should have consolidated into these Nurglings as well, but I just forgot because I didn't see him on the other side of the wall. And then I blocked out his landing, which is important. His landing, because he can't land on a wall, and he can't land anywhere over here. So if I would have just charged fully in, he would have just walked right over me. So make sure that you block out the landing for these big knights. All right, so our turn 1, we actually get capture enemy outpost and engage in all fronts. Shit. So if I would have used the Seekers, I could have kind of moved them up over here and just try to get 3 points for engage. But with Dawn of War, it was tough. Like I could have moved them up here and just kind of charge, but then probably would have died to these guys because they're melee heavy. So I kind of sacrificed my secondary to just try and block out as much as possible. So I didn't get any points for that, and there's absolutely no way I could have got captured enemy outpost. So we had a really crappy turn 1 for Chaos because of the secondaries. Obviously, you just got to prepare, guys. Try and come back. His turn 1, his fixed are bring it down and deploy teleport homers. So his bringing down targets are my Rhino, 3 Predators, Hellbrute, and the Carnivore. So as long as he's killing those, that's his goal, he's going to get points. And then deploy is one of the best fixed secondaries you can get. So be within 6 inches of the center, or just touching the deployment zone, which this Dawn of War deployment zone you can get anywhere by like turn 2 or 3 and beyond. So I'm trying to block out as much as possible, but I also don't want his break-in to just walk in and blow up my guys. So, yeah, that's my end of turn 1. His turn 1, he basically scooches up everybody as far forward as he possibly can. So one of the brigands from here scooches up through this wall. He spent 1 CP so he can move through my models and through the wall. So his brigand was the one to come up and do the bully teleport homers turn 1. The Nurglings couldn't get around. These Nurglings would have been able to do it, but they were too far, and he was in combat, so he can't leave combat and do it. So one of the brigands scooches up on the other side. The other brigands kind of scooch up slowly. This guy walks over my dudes and stays behind this terrain feature so he doesn't get shot by everybody. My Seekers die, obviously, to just shooting and one charge from, I believe, this guy charged in and finished him off. The other Nurglings scooted up and just kind of waited there. His turn 1, he gets 3 for deploy teleport homers. Everything else kind of scooches over. So my whole army's over here. If he would have moved up this way, he would have just died. So his army started going this way. So we're kind of like rotating around the table. Whoever commits first usually gets, is going to get shot by both sides. So now I have to watch out for this freaking big guy that can just walk through this terrain feature because he's a super heavy. Just walk through and then charge my entire brick of tanks and stuff over here. So time for the cultists to sacrifice themselves and be meat shields up front. So I put them all up front. They're all within 9 inches of the crown, so they all have a 4-pin won't save. So they're all blocking the movement, so that way he has to kind of charge these guys to then try to stay away from my tanks. Then this thing moved up right against the wall, or 1 inch away from the wall, so he can't charge me through the wall. And if I need to commit them, I could commit the 2 legionary units to do secondaries, or try and tie up a vehicle. Demonettes came down right here from Deep Strike. They make their charge onto the Nurglings that were on this objective. So they charge the Nurglings, make their charge. He countercharges one of these dudes into here because I basically stole the objective. No, he doesn't countercharge because he doesn't have enough CP. So just went back, checked, he has 1 CP. So when I charge, I stay outside of 6 inches just to make sure when I made that charge, and then I pilot in to put as many as I possibly could on the objective to steal the objective. He's got 16 obsect on this point, but we got 20. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 2 obsec each. We steal that objective from him turn 2. So that stops his primary to a 5, which is huge against knights and on this deployment zone. So he basically is just ditching this one altogether. I have it sticky from the cultist turn 1. This one we're basically fighting over. This one I was able to steal, and I can't really get anything back there as of yet. So he gets 5 for his objective in the back there. He has to do deploy and bring it down. So that ends my turn 1. I get these guys because my secondaries, I had 10 for primary. We get engaged on all fronts because we kept. I'm like, all right, I'm pretty sure I can get engaged on all fronts next turn, especially with this deployment zone. So we deep strike our Nurglings all the way in the corner over here. Our bikes come in over here. We spread out all of our guys in the back left, and our bikes stayed back here. So basically, I just try to block out as much as I can around the edges. So his guys can only walk in really right here and in his deployment zone back there. So I try to block out as much as I possibly can. So we got engaged for 5 and extend battle lines, which is pretty easy to get for 5 points. So we had a huge turn 2 compared to our turn 1. Turn 1 we had 0, turn 2 we had 10 plus 10 for primary. His primary we already sent was 5. He deploys with the Nurglings. So Nurglings scooch up in my deployment zone, so they deep strike turn 2. Sorry, you can't see right there. Nurglings came in, barely touching my deployment zone, and they deploy in my deployment zone turn 2. So he gets a sweet 4 for deployed teleport homer, and then bring it down. What is his target on turn 2 for bring it down? Oh, the vehicle. Okay. So his turn two is a really big turn 2. The 2 carnivores, 1 carnivore basically scooted up 14 inches over to here to try and take on my bikes. The other carnivore scooted up to try and take on the demon nets, because if he kills enough of them, especially with the sweep, he's able to take over that objective. And then the other carnivore scooted up in case he needs it. This brigand moves up to try and get some line of sights off on this predator. These guys walked in over here. He got line of sight onto Abaddon's unit right here. And when he measured, he only really measured Abaddon's unit. 1 guy was able to get line of sight onto my predator. So, of course, I Nurgle, which he completely forgot about. Obviously, he plays Chaos. I know Chaos. He knows Chaos. I remind him like a bunch of times. And then he just completely blanked because obviously it's just a game. But he blanked and I Nurgle stratted. And then he got line of sight still onto the predator from one of them. So he's able to shoot 1 couple chain cannons into the predator over here. Didn't wound it. And then the Meltas couldn't really shoot anything. So Beast is chilling on his home field objective. Makes it sticky because he had the sticky from the big guy. Everything's moving up. So his goal right now is to kill all of these cultists and then charge my tank, which is down to 2 wounds because of the Melta. So he had a Melta shoot that thing and took it down to 2 wounds. He wanted to charge this thing, tank shock it, pile into another vehicle, and then kill that vehicle. That was his goal. So we're trying to make as many saves as we possibly can on these 4-ups over here, which he has so many Havoc launchers, guys. It was funny. If you watch the live game, he shoots all of his Havoc launchers, which I think is 5 of them, and takes it down to like 2 guys. So he just rolls like crap. I make a bunch of 4-up saves, and he doesn't finish off this 10-man cultist unit, which was hilarious. So his last guy, the big guy, has to shoot his assault weapon into the last 2 cultists, and then finally kills the last 2 cultists with the assault weapon. So it leaves him plenty of room to charge into my vehicle and then tank shock it. Carnivore Rapid Ingress down here. I put him on the objective, so that way if his big guy does get on my objective, I have an Obsect 2 guy here, Obsect 8 guy here, so we still have 10, so he can't steal it from me because his Obsect 10 as well. So that was, I was trying to be defensive with the Carnivore, trying to keep my home field objective, because that's huge. If I go down to 5 points, that's going to be a big swing coming into this game. So I Rapid Ingress this guy down here to try and protect my home field. Carnivore scooted up, charged my bikes, and then he actually makes his charge with his big guy. So he charges in, he tank shocks it, but he rolls like absolute garbage. Doesn't kill it. So he has to finish off killing it with his guy, obviously, and then. When he kills it, he piles in and tags this vehicle and my crown. So now he's in combat with 2 vehicles. Almost killed 2 vehicles with the charge with this guy, which would have sucked for us. The 2 legionary units get out of the Rhino up here, and the reason they did that was because we got 10 for primary, our home field and the top left corner, and then we get behind enemy lines, so we have to try and get back there again, and then storm hostile objective. So we have to take over either this objective or this objective, which all he has is 1 knight on there. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to throw both of my legionary units at this way, so I can choose whether to go into this knight if I need to, or to this knight. They have grenades, they have plasmas, they have heavy melee weapons, so they're going to probably kill this knight with the charge, especially if I can get Abaddon close. Now Abaddon scooted up to try and make that charge into the knight if I need to, or make the charge over here if I need to. So Abaddon is moving up to try and be the counter charge to whatever I have. I have 2 brigands up here that I have to eventually deal with. I have my bikes coming in behind me lines over here to try and steal the home field objective from him, because I have behind enemy lines. So the Nurglings stayed there, and then the bikes went there, so I automatically have behind enemy lines. These Nurglings I don't know what to do about. In my deployment zone, I can't get anything near there. Rhino scooches up, Carnivore scooches up, wants to try and trade a Carnivore for a Carnivore, and this Carnivore took 3 bikes down to 1. He then just fell back to try and block the movement from this knight getting through. So he fell back, stayed right there, and was like, all right, you have to spend 1 CP to try and get through him to do something. So that was a good move block right there. So we just turn all of our guns onto this Lancer. This thing can shoot in combat because he's a vehicle, and then we can shoot into combat because he's a vehicle. Hellbrute scooches up. We put last cannon, autocannon, everything into the knight, and we actually kill the knight to shooting. So since we kill it to shooting, it doesn't blow up. It would have been like D6 plus 2 mortal wounds to everything within 6 inches, which would have sucked. But it doesn't blow up. These guys charge this thing. I wanted to charge in and then pile into the brigand to try and tie up the brigand, which we get. So we tie up the brigand with our legionnaires. So we charge in, pile in, tie up the brigand. So he has to fall back. He can only, like, he's a vehicle, so he can shoot everywhere, but he can't move. That was the goal. Because if he would have gotten on the objective, he would have stole the objective back from me next turn. So we get 5 for behind enemy lines. We get 5 for storm hostile objective, which we stole the center objective. At the end of this turn, we killed the big knight, this knight, and one of the carnivore knights, which then he countercharged, which he spent 2 CP for, which I don't know if it was a wash, if it was worth it, but he spent 2 CP to countercharge, killed my carnivore back. So we killed 1 carnivore, killed 2 carnivores, and then killed the knight, and we made that charge onto the beast. Now, me tying up the bikes with the beast never dies. Like, the plasma didn't kill him, and then all of the chainsaw just can't do enough damage because he heals every phase. So now they're tied up, but they're Obsec 2. So they did steal the home field objective. So we kept them to a primary of 5 again. Dang, so Chaos Knights sticking to a 5 for primary on Dawn of War with us, that is our goal this entire game. So keeping him, we're getting 10 for primary, he's getting 5 for primary. So beating him on primary at this point. He gets, bring it down, so he has to kill some vehicles. He killed my Predator last turn. He then killed 2 more predators, so I only have 1 predator left. I still have my Hellbrute, my Rhino, and he killed a carnivore. So he got 6 points, plus 3 the turn before, so he's at 9 for Bring It Down. And then deploy, I can't do anything about the Nurglings, so they just keep deploying in my deployment zone. So that kind of sucks. I still have a Rhino on this vehicle, or on this. His carnivore scooches over here. 1 demon that's still alive, somehow, chilling on the objective. These Nurglings ran away, so they're just chilling in his deployment zone in case I can investigate signal or deploy. What else? These brigands are starting to move up to get in combat or in range of the legionnaires, but this one finished off the predator that was here, and then the other one gets line of sight and shoots my squad right here. So they are with 3 of these guys were within 9 inches of the crown. So he kills one of them, takes 1 down to 1 wound because I think he rolled a 1 for the Milta. So we still have 1, 2, 3 legionnaires left with Abaddon. So now I can make a legionnaire if I need to, and then he can move up and charge or advance and charge. So these 2 brigands are looking really juicy to Abaddon right now. And he had a pretty good turn. 4, turn 3, 6 for Bring It Down, and 4 for Deploy Teleport Homers. Our turn 4, we get 10 again for primary because we have our home field objective, and this one's still sticky, so we get 10. Carnivore scooted up, killed. I think he tank shocked the Demonette, killed the Demonette, consolidated into the Rhino, and then killed the Rhino. So that's a really good combo with the Knights, is being able to charge in, kill whatever you wanted on the charge with tank shock, and then pile into another unit and then attack that unit instead. Demonettes are now, Nurglings are now tied up with my 1 bike that lived over here because this guy had to fall back or come back this way and take the objective back. So the 1 bike that was alive scooted up, shot, and then charged the Nurglings over here to try and stop them from getting deployed teleport homer. So instead of him doing it in my deployment zone, he had to do it in the center, which he did it with these 2 Nurglings that were left here. He shoots and kills the rest of my Legionnaires over here, so I only have 1 Legionnaire left right there in the center with 1 wound. The Beast of Nurgles, still just swinging away on these 2 guys. He's OPSEC 2, we're OPSEC 4, so we keep his home field objective from him just by falling back. And then over here, Abaddon does make a guy to make the charge easier. So he does make a guy, he scooches up, and then he charges. Now what I did was, they were pretty close together. So I charged this thing. Abaddon rolls like a 10 or 11, whatever it is. He charges, he blocks off his base to base. So he charges 1 guy here, 1 guy here, and 1 guy here. And how you do that is Abaddon now can't fit base to base to this guy, so he charges past him, ending his charge closer to this guy with another Legionnaire that charged ahead up there, and then when you pile in, it looks like this. So this was the charge over here. That was the other guy over there. Abaddon then piles in to both of these guys to get base to base with this guy, who's base to base with that one, and then base to base with this guy, who's base to base with that one. So I can basically split my attacks, go 4 attacks over there, 4 attacks over there, and then just kind of sweep both of them. But the Legionnaires killed this one on the charge, and then Abaddon put all of his attacks into this one over here, and then just nuked them. So that was a good turn 4 for us because we killed both brigands over there. We tied up the Nurglings over there. We still have a Hellbrute, Predator, Crown still alive somehow, and then the bikes and Nurglings in the back there. So we're winning on primary still. Going into turn 4, we had Cleanse, which we did on this objective. And we actually spent 1 CP to fall back and cleanse on these guys. So that's why they fell back to do a cleanse there. And you can cleanse outside of your deployment zone. So this is outside my deployment zone, so we cleanse there and cleanse there. So we got 5 for cleanse and 8 for Bring It Down. So we killed enough for Bring It Down, which is great against Knights. His turn 4, he gets 5 again for primary because he held this one. And he gets 0 for Bring It Down, because all that's left is the Hellbrute and the Predator, which he doesn't have enough to get to them. What else? And then 3 for deploy teleport homers for the Nurglings in the center. All right, so going into turn 5, we're up at this point. We get 10 for primary. So we had this one and this one. I'm not sure if we counted at the end of the game for priority targets. I probably should have had 100 looking at this. Not sure how we ended. So yeah, because we still had that one and we still had this one. Yeah, and this is the end of the board state. All right, so we should have had 100. I apologize. We had 10 for primary targets. Our end of the game, we had no prisoners, which again was easy, and then assassination. So he had no more characters left on the table, so we automatically get 5. And then for his, he had to bring it down, so he killed the... I think we gave him points at the end of the game. If you watch the live stream at the end of the game, we saw if he had max amount of points, if he can catch up. So we gave him 5 for primary and then 10 for the primary at the end of the game, so 15 at the end. And then for bring it down, we assume that he can kill one of the vehicles, and then we assume that he could deploy teleport homer in my back deployment zone. So this is the final score. This is the final game state right here. Nope, that's another game. This is the final game state right here. We still have Abaddon, Hellbrute, and Legionnaires left in the center. We assumed that the Carnivore can charge through, steal this objective, and get this guy, which at the end of the game we would have had, I believe, this objective for 5 more points. So it would have been 95. And this is the final score. So we finished up Chaos Space Marines with 95 to Craig's 70. And again, that was assuming that he can make the charge through these guys, which was, I think, a 9. So you had to make a 9-inch charge, tank shock, kill the vehicle, steal the objective, and get that. So that was just assuming that he could do it. We didn't roll it, but we were up in points anyway, so we just gave him as many points as he can get. So his primary was 30 out of 50. So we stopped Knights on Dawn of War to 30 out of 50. That was huge, guys. So if you could take notes, just take notes based off of that. 12 out of 20 for Bring It Down. And then 18 out of 20 for Deploy Teleport. It was one of the best secondaries to take for fixed in any army is deploy, especially if you have deep strikes or small units that are cheap that can get in behind enemy lines. So really good for that one. He finished up with a 70. For us, we had 40 out of 50 for primary. So we should have had 45 out of 50 for primary, and then 40 out of 40 for secondaries. This list is pretty good for secondaries with the amount of guys that can do different stuff. The 2 Legionnaire units and the Rhino I like for Slaanesh. So that way you can kind of advance out and do an action. And then the Rhino is Slaanesh as well, so the Rhino can advance up and do something as well for 1 CP. You can basically advance and charge if you're Slaanesh for 1 CP, so you can advance and do an action. And then the Hellbrute with the rerolls of Abaddon. All the Predators just annihilate anything. So you crit on 5s, and then you gain lethal and sustain because of the Hellbrute. So you choose lethal or sustain, and then since you have the Hellbrute near 6 inches, you get both. Now with Dark Pact, you crit on a 5 because it's Nurgle. So it's not specific to just lethal or sustain. It's in the rules where you crit, period, on a 5. You then gain lethal and sustain because of the Hellbrute. So you crit lethal and sustain on a 5 with full rerolls from Abaddon. That's why that combo is so good. And I feel like Chaos turning into the Aura army and playing it that way is usually the best way to play Chaos right now at this moment before the Codex comes out. So the Crown, still really good. Everything wholly within 9 inches, especially with Cultists. If you watch my Cultist build, it's hilarious. It's 100 Cultists all around the Crown, and they just don't die, or it's really hard to move them and kill them. And then the Knights, again, great list, fun list. You can rapid ingress the Lancer if you really want to, but I would rapid ingress either a Carnivore or a Brigand if you want to move up and get within Melter range. But this list, I really like. The Beast of Nurgle never died. It's so good. Even if you camp it on your home field objective, you can do it that way, or use it as your deploy teleport homer model. But once he gets tied up in combat, he has enough attacks to try and get himself loose. But I'd rather spend only 40 points to do that than the 70 point for the Beast. So a really good list on both sides. If you want an all-comers list, these are both good. If you don't want to buy the Lancer, you can just do more Brigands. Or Carnivores, whatever you choose. They're super quick and they hit really hard, and they're OPSEC 8. So think Chaos Knights are super fun right now. If you like just big bodies running around the table, really good. This list, this thing is up on Patreon only. So if you guys want to see the live battle report, we do live battle reports usually every Monday or one day throughout the week. I'm starting to do battle reports like this, but if you want to watch it live, that's Patreon only. So guys, all these videos go all these videos go ahead of time up on patreon.com, so you don't have to wait to watch them. Right when they come out, I edit them and throw them up on Patreon, and then you have to wait a couple days, if not a week, to see it up on YouTube. So guys, really appreciate it. If you guys are interested in the Merc, hit me up on Discord. Hit the subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, and I appreciate it. Good luck, and we'll see you in another video soon. What's up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. If you guys are thinking about joining the Patreon page, we're going to go over each tier and how it's going to benefit you and what you're looking for specifically to get out of 40k in 10th edition coming up. There's a lot of stuff to go over. There's a lot of tactical videos up on the channel, which is for free. There's going to be a bunch of perks that you get specifically for being a part of the Dirtbag Nation Patreon page. So first off, we have the first tier, which is $1 a month. You guys get first access to the videos over at patreon.com. You also get access to the Discord, which is specifically a private link in the Discord that only Patreon members can see. So you guys will have first access to that. Also a benefit is Patreons over the Dirtbag Nation get live streamed games on patreon.com streamed from YouTube, but there's only links specifically for the patreons.com. So not only do you get first access to these videos, you also get to see live stream games specifically only on patreon.com. The next tier is the Justicar. You guys get a shout out on every single video on YouTube. You also get to support us a little bit more. You get first dibs at voting on Discord, as well as you just kind of say, hey, I just want to be a Justicar Dirtbag and support you guys a little bit more than that $1 a month tier. But you get all the same access as well as the different color over on the Discord. So the third tier is the competitive Dirtbag. This tier, you get a lot more one-on-one coaching. This is a lot of the Dirtbags over on the Dirtbag Nation. They are able to send out messages one-on-one, go over list ideas, tactics, anything you guys want to talk about. When I was getting into 40K, or really any game in general, I always wanted to message the top players in the meta and just ask them questions. This $10 a month tier gets you that opportunity to message us one-on-one on Discord, so that way we can actually coach you, give you our insights, suggestions, and that's going to get you better at the 40k 10th edition as a whole. So that tier alone, just $10 a month to have one-on-one coaching, one-on-one messages anytime throughout the month, that's going to be a perfect tier for you guys. Even if you're brand new to the game, we go over 1,000-point list, 1,500-point list, 2,000-point brand new starting list, team list, anything you guys need. That's what the competitive Dirtbag tier is for. Also, you get a little bit red number name tag on Discord, so people know that you're really serious about getting into the competitive scene. The Grandmaster Dirtbags. This is the all-in-all $25 a month tier. You get one-on-one coaching, everything we said prior to this, but you guys get to see me, Mike, any of the other Dirtbags play your specific list that you want to see tested out live on one of our battle reports. You guys get to mention, suggest videos you guys want to see coming up on patreon.com. So you guys get the above first tier benefit of everything that we do over at Dirtbag Nation. All the support mainly comes from you guys supporting us over here at Dirtbag Nation. And Grandmasters, I can't thank you enough, but for $25 a month, you get one-on-one coaching and anything you want to see live on the tabletop. So you get to see a professional play right in front of you. You guys get to kind of like see it one-on-one, and I'm actually making this specifically for you. There's also TTS events that you guys can suggest. If you guys want to do a first 1 or 2 turn run through on TTS, we can actually log in and coach you one-on-one with that. If you guys see us at any GTs, you guys get special benefits, free dice, stuff like that. Anytime you purchase a merch thing on Discord, you guys get a free limited edition Dirtbag dice sent to you with every single purchase on top of that. So there's a lot of benefits coming up with the Grandmaster Dirtbag. Because I can't thank you enough for supporting us. Definitely let me know which tier would be best for you if you go over to patreon.com and specifically go to a tier. And make sure you don't forget to message me up on Discord. That's where we check every single day. If you guys are really into getting into 10th edition 40k, head over to Patreon, join the competitive Dirtbag or the Grandmaster. Message me as many times as you possibly want, and I'll coach you the best I possibly can on any specific army that you guys play. Mainly our armies right now, currently, going into 2024, is going to be Chaos Space Marines, Grey Knights, Death Guard, and then we have Custodies, Sisters, and
I think that's it going into the wings of 2024. But again, any other army that you guys play, we have other coaches lined up for the Dirtbags that are ready to take on that role of the competitive Dirtbag page. So guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for clicking on the video. Thanks for joining the Dirtbag Nation if you guys are already a part of us. And we'll see you in another video soon.